guys, it's Anna. Welcome back. Today I wanted to share my full experience about registering my son for Disability Access Service Pass, also known as DAS. I do have a full video the day of the registration. I can have it linked right here and down below. Definitely check it out. But now since we've registered, have been approved, have gone to Disney, and I had time to process everything and kind of think about everything and jot down some important key points for you guys, I wanted to make this video and share it with you, so hopefully it will help you with your registration process for your upcoming Walt Disney World trip. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, welcome, and if this is your first DAS video ever, I just wanted to give you like a quick overview of what it is, but definitely check out my full playlist. I'll have it here and down below. I have many videos and I explain everything in great detail. So Disability Access Service Pass, also known as DAS, was created for guests who cannot wait in the conventional queue line. Of April 2024, Disney made some significant changes and many people who qualified before no longer qualified. And right now, as per Disney's website, it says that Disability Access Service Pass is intended for guests with autism and or similar developmental disabilities. I think that's the wording. I don't have it in front of me, but just take it with a grain of salt. So that kind of excluded so many other people with so many other disabilities, but people still get approved and everything is case by case basis. I definitely encourage you to do as much research as you can. Be as prepared as you can for your interview. I know it could be stressful, but I'm here to help you as much as I can, and I hope you'll find this video helpful. If you do, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any further questions or you want to share your experience, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get into this video. I wrote things down like what kind of school he goes to, what kind of transportation he gets, how we travel, what kind of accommodations we get when we travel by airplane, or you know, when he's in the car, if we do road trips, how we do shopping, things that trigger him, things that make him STEM, just how his doctors accommodate him, and just our daily lives. And I was, you know, very honest, like I don't have anything to hide. Like, this is my son, this is our life. Though of course many of you still are very taken back by how much information we have to provide, and I agree, it's a lot of information, and some of this information some of my friends and family don't know that I have to share with the cast member in order for my son to receive a Disability Access Service Pass. But that's where we are right now, and there's no way around it. Disney will not take any documentation, which I think they should. It would make it a lot easier for so many of us, but they don't. So anyway, so that was my kind of like pre-registration thing that I did. I sat down and wrote everything out. I always try to make the phone call 30 days before the trip, and this was no different. I called exactly 30 days to our first park day. It has to be a park day. It's not when you first arrive to Disney. And I would recommend for you to do the same, because if you don't get approved, if you get denied, you want to know what other options you might have. So I would rather you have 30 days to figure out what you need to do and how you need to accommodate yourself or your family member, your child, or calling Disney 5 days before and hearing news such as you're not going to be approved, and then you're scrambling trying to figure out how you're going to make this accommodations possible at that point in time. You know what I mean? So I would strongly recommend for you to call 30 days before your first park day. So on the day of our pre-registration, I called at 10:30 in the morning. I'm in New York City, so it was Eastern Standard Time, and I think from beginning to the end, honestly, it was under like 30 to under 25 minutes. Like I think it was under 25 minutes from beginning to the end. That was great for me in this case, but that's not always the case. It could literally take hours, and I've been on every side of it where it took, you know, under 30 minutes to where it took like 4.5, 5 hours. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a free day and call and make sure the person who is requesting DAS is there, because if they pick up and that person is not there, they're going to disconnect and tell you to call back later. So you don't want that to happen, so make sure everybody's ready. So the cast member that we got was very nice. She was kind and she was respectful, but I can't say that she was overly friendly. Like, I can't say that, you know. She was nice and kind. Again, like, I don't want to repeat myself, but she really was, but she wasn't overly friendly. So for me, I know it's not the case for everyone, but I personally wasn't nervous for this interview, and I've mentioned it in my original video as well, because I felt very confident. My son is in the population of people who apparently the DAS is intended for, and I just was very well prepared. And you know, this is my daily life, like this is how we live, so I pretty much just explained that to the cast member. You know, I wasn't nervous, but I know that that's not the same for everyone, and I can definitely see, once, say, my son is a teenager, like there is going to be no way that he could do this interview on his own. So I completely understand that my experience is not going to be the same for everybody else. So as soon as the cast member picked up, you know, she introduced herself, I introduced myself. She did ask if my son was there. At that moment in time, he wasn't next to me because he didn't want to be, and she said that that was okay. So she asked me how can she be of help, and I right away pretty much started listing everything that is difficult for my son. So after maybe, like, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds of me, you know, talking, she said, okay, she's going to try to help me, but she's going to have to ask me more questions in more details, and if I was okay with that. And I said absolutely. So then she started with her questions, and I have my notes here, so I'm just gonna read it for you. Okay, so I don't remember which order these questions were, but I did write them down. So she asked me, why is it hard for him to wait in line? What happens to him when he waits in line? Do we fly or do we drive? And what kind of accommodations we receive when we fly? What accommodations he receives in school? How do we do doctors, and what accommodations are given to him there? How do we go to movies? And how do I prep him for new activities, especially things where he has to wait? How do we go shopping? And what is my biggest concern when it comes to him waiting in Disney World and outside of Disney World? So those were all the questions that she asked. I can't really answer all of these questions for you because every situation is very different, and your disability struggles and needs are different than my son's. But I'll give you a couple examples, like when she asked me how do we do movie theaters, and I found that question to be very interesting. But again, like, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to lie. Do we go to the movies? Yes, we do. Do I pick and choose which movie theater, what time, what movie we see? Absolutely. Do I specifically pick certain seats when we go? Absolutely. Because I want it to be a good experience for him. I want him to enjoy the movie, but I also want to be able to, like, you know, get out if we need to. But also, I'm putting him in the best possible situation. Like, I am prepping him for the best possible experience when we go to the movies. So that means that I'm picking a specific show time, I'm picking a specific movie, I'm picking the specific seats. Like, I am trying to have the best possible outcome. So, like, I went into details like that explaining to her. So also another thing, like when she asked about flying, and do we fly? Absolutely. Do we drive to Disney and other destinations? Absolutely. When we fly, some of our accommodations are, we have TSA pre-check, which is a service that I don't know how much it is now, but it's around $100. You go, you get your fingerprints, I think, and then you have it for 5 years and your kids are under it. So we have that service. I also always, doesn't matter if we're going to use it or not, request TSA cares. So that kind of helps him get through security. For instance, if something's happening, if TSA pre-check is closed, we always have a backup for TSA cares. When we get to the gate, I always request if we could please board with people who have disabilities, because it's easier for him to get onto the plane in the beginning. I know it's not for every kid or for every adult. Some people prefer to get onto the plane at the very end. For us, it's the opposite. Like, he needs to be there, and it's easier for me because I can get him situated, clean, give him everything he needs, and be in a calm environment versus the other way around. So when she asked me about shopping, just to give you another example, do I take my kid shopping? Absolutely. Like, he's my child, like, of course. And plus, because of his disability, I want him to be exposed to certain things like that. Like, I don't ever want to keep him away from shopping, so then that way 20 years from now he goes shopping and he doesn't even know where he is, what to do and what not to do, you know what I mean? So I try to put my kid everywhere I can and let him experience everything. So yes, I do take him shopping. Yes, I try to do everything by myself because of course it's easier for me. But when we go, we have a list. He has his iPad and he's with me, and we are in and we're out, and that's the end of it. There is no strolling around, walking around endlessly. There is no like, let's see what they got. No, we're in and we're out. And as far as his school and what accommodations he gets, I pretty much explained, you know, these are the kind of related services he has in school for XYZ reasons. He has these kind of services at home, and then these kind of services on the weekend to help him with, you know, X, Y, and Z. So that was pretty much it. So in our experience, she didn't call a medical professional, and I know that they typically do these days, but we didn't have that experience. Before letting me know that he was approved, she asked to see my son, and he was here, of course. He came and he sat on the couch here with me. He was in the screen for a split of a second. I think she asked him how his day was, and he said fun, and that was it. And then he left, and then she says, it's okay, don't worry about it, I already grabbed his photo. So when she said that, that's when I knew that he was approved, and that's when I knew that we're not going to be speaking to anybody else, like a medical professional or whoever Disney has at this point in time. That was pretty much it. I didn't prep my son. I didn't feel like I needed to, because he still is little. Now, say maybe 5 years from now, that will be different. But right now, you know, he's little. She asked him, whatever she said, how his day was going, and he said fine. And he wanted nothing to do with this interview or us sitting here looking at the screen. So I don't know, but that was our experience. So she also approved us only for 2 weeks, I think, or maybe it was either 12 or 14 days. That was it. Again, this experience is so different. I just recently watched the video, and this family said that they're not pass holders and they were approved for like 240 days. And I'm just like, because I feel like if you're a pass holder, like that would make sense, right? Maybe they won't approve you for the entire year, but maybe they'll give you like 3 months or 6 months, or right? But I don't know. I don't know what that depends on. And just the more I watch, the more I still see that every experience is so different. Though my experience was very positive, we had a great cast member. The whole thing took less than 30 minutes, though there were a lot of questions and difficult questions, and the questions required very personal and very detailed answers. Our experience was pretty positive, and I'm happy to say that. And I do hope that you have the same outcome and the same positive experience. But again, just to remind you, please be prepared, please be honest, and explain everything in great detail. Why it's hard for you to wait, like what happens to you, what affects you, how does it affect others. Just, you know, giving simple answers like, no, I don't go shopping, I do everything online. No, I don't go here, I do this. No, I don't do that. No, I do that. I don't think that's going to get you approved, because though that could be true to how you live your life and how it makes sense for you, but they don't see that as, you know, like an experience. And I think maybe that's where they make their decisions. And of course, also don't be discouraged the fact that it says that Disability Access Service Pass is intended for guests with autism and or similar developmental disabilities. There are still people getting approved, and I'm happy to hear those stories, because when all of this came out, I just could not believe. I will be the first one to admit I didn't think that Disney was going to be so harsh, because why does my son with his disability qualify, and then your son with his disability doesn't qualify? That doesn't make any sense. This is a disability community, and I think everyone should qualify. And if we're trying to get rid of the bad guys, then we should just be asking for documentation. And that's it. But anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. I really hope and pray that you guys have a positive experience. If you have any further questions that I can possibly answer for you, leave them down in the comments below. Or if you want to share your experience, whether it was good or bad, definitely please share with us in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video. And I'll see you real soon. Bye.